So this is the Dental Diaries, and I am Jessica Emery, and I am so excited because I want to bring in Amy Cloute. I'm so excited to be talking with somebody today, this amazing, amazing woman whom I found through social media, which is why I think it's so, so incredible. It's nice to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Yay! So she's here. I'm doing a Zoom call with her, and I'm going to attempt to extract the sound to put it on the podcast, which I think will be really fun, but then I can repurpose this video too, so I get to see her face. We were just actually talking about how important it is when we're doing all these Zoom calls, when we're at home, how nice it is to see somebody face-to-face when you're talking to them versus that black screen that says iPhone on it, because then you can connect so much more. So just to open, to tell you all a little bit about Amy, she has an Instagram handle, which you definitely need to follow, the High Vibe Hygienist, which attracted me to her instantly, which is fantastic. And she also has the RDH Collective, but we'll get to that during our call. So Amy, her bio, she lives life to be a better person today than she was yesterday. She's an extroverted introvert, and connection is her #1 core value. She's been a dental hygienist for almost 18 years. Educating and connecting with her patients is what she loves most. She's been cultivating the RDH Collective, a community for dental hygienists, to support and inspire one another to excel in their career and life, because this RDH life can be a challenging one. She also is a true believer that mindset and energy is everything in life, and loves reading and attending workshops on personal growth. She has her Reiki level 2 cert and is a little spiritually woo-woo. A native of Wisconsin, she now lives in the beautiful state of Colorado with her boyfriend, Andy, Neri, and her 14-year-old pup, Maisie. So excited to have you. Oh, there's so much goodness in this bio. Where do I start? Oh my goodness. So I found you, somehow we connected through Instagram, right?
Yes.
We found each other for sure. I think I saw maybe your RDH Collective first. Can you tell us a little more about that?
So I started the RDH Collective kind of this winter for 2 reasons. One, I kind of found myself going to study clubs and seminars and continuing education all the time, which you learn so much, and that is great. But then I found that you'd be whispering to each other or writing notes with other people going, what does your office do? And so we were always wanting to know like what other people were doing. Have they tried these products? That kind of stuff. And I really felt that there's so much value in the tricks of the trade that you just learn from each other. Yeah. And we're all in offices with, maybe only another hygienist. Maybe you're by yourself, or you have 4 or 5 hygienists. And you're kind of in that little world, in that bubble, and you don't know what else is out there. And I think there's so much to learn from each other.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to create a space for people to have that openness to share, as well as with the growth of the female entrepreneur, which I have 2 owners at my office. It's a privately owned dental office, one of which is female. So I'm proud to work for a female entrepreneur. And I think that's amazing. But I was finding I crave self-growth and self-improvement, and a lot of the offerings of masterminds or networking events and stuff were based around the female entrepreneur. And I'm like, I don't fit. It was like, I still love my 8 to 5 hygiene job. So I wanted to create a space too for those of us who like work those 8 to 5 jobs, who still want to connect, and we still want to grow as humans and inspire each other and grow together through the ebbs and flows of life. So that's where the RDH Collective kind of came from.
I love it. So I know that you have met, you had a meeting, I believe I saw. Did you do, are you meeting with people that are local, or I see it's a collective, bringing women together on a platform. Are you doing masterminds that are on Zoom, or are you bring together people in person?
I started with trying to do local and just kind of cultivating the local, just for that in-person connection, as well as I started growing the just online platform. And that's how I found you on social media and on Instagram, just because, and it's amazing. I'll be honest, once I opened that door and really started searching people, I've connected with so many amazing people in the dental industry, and it's phenomenal, and it's been wonderful, especially in this downtime.
Right.
Obviously wanting it to be more kind of an in-person thing over time. It's kind of been on the big pause button with everybody being home. So
Sure.
it's just been continuing to grow online, and I've just been continuing to connect with people online at the moment.
So what is your vision for where that's going? Is it going to be retreats or?
I hope eventually to do retreats. I just wanted to start it. Like I said, I was starting with just local meetups and wanting to do something fun outside of the box too. Of there's so many opportunities for the CE credits that's all dental based. If you want to learn about perio, there's tons. But what about the things like that we can get together and do yoga and stretching for the hygienist and the dental professional, things that we struggle with? How about a fashion night? Because we live in Scrubs, and we all know it's real that when we have a special event to go to, it's like this panic attack of what am I going to wear, because I live in scrubs and yoga pants.
That's funny. We don't do scrubs in my practice, but now going back after this, I don't know. I hear I'm going to have to do the full clinical garb. I don't know.
Yes, I know. It'll be like hazmat suit, I think.
Yeah, right. But I agree with you. I think there's something to be said for gosh, all of this goodness that you're about that I absolutely love too, which is bringing positive like back in. I think in dentistry there is, I mean, obviously we know it's the number one suicide rate, like, right?
Yeah.
Like that's,
oh yeah.
and it's tough. It's tough on everybody. And it's so fascinating too, because even with dentists in my world, and I was a hygienist too, I don't know if you know that, but I practiced hygiene for a bit and loved it. But I don't know, it's just so for everyone, I don't know if it's that we're isolated or what, but like dentists right now during this time too, it's all about teeth and like, let's just learn more about teeth. And I'm like, there's so much other stuff, like, you know, and inspiring. And, you know, that's why I really speak to culture and energy, and, you know, engaging with one another is huge too, as you know,
Yes.
for like overall happiness and growth and all of that good stuff.
Right. And I just wanted it to be too, because I think there can be that space of, I don't know, competitiveness, or, I mean, it's a female dominated industry a lot of times, especially with hygienists, that it can be a little hairy sometimes. And I think that's where the mindset comes in. And I think there's so much school prepares you for all how to clean teeth and how to take care of our patients. What they don't prepare you for is working with each other and the different personalities and challenges of our patients.
Mm-hmm.
Because how many times a week do we hear, I hate coming to this place.
Right, negative,
the dentist is my least favorite place to be. And I don't think people understand the power of those words when we hear that. And I think, you know, we get big shoulders over time of like, okay, here it is again. Yeah. And instead of like that being such a drag and feeling so negative, I've like totally changed my mindset about it, because I used to get kind of frustrated with that, or the patients who are like, I just don't want this, and they, you know, sit themselves down with their arms crossed. Of like, now it's a challenge for me to have them leave going, this was so good. If I get a hug, I get a gold star, and I love working for the gold star and the extra credit. That when they leave and they're like, oh my gosh, thank you for making this so much better than I thought, or a good experience. Like, I love that challenge. I want to change how they feel about coming to the dentist and how they feel about coming to see us. And so I think school and everything and all the CE prepares you for all of that, like dentistry stuff. They don't really, and it's hard to prepare yourself for that. And I think sometimes we feel like we carry that burden, and how we can help each other to change how we feel about those situations and support each other.
Yeah, totally. So were you always, have you always been into this like universal positivity kind of stuff? Or you changed and learned it later when you became a hygienist?
Yes, I was like, minus probably like 6-7 years ago. I'll be honest, I was not in a great place. I was just letting life happen to me. Mm-hmm. I was in an office where there's a lot of cattiness and gossip, and I'll raise my hand and say I participated in that. And it was just, I didn't like where I was. And I picked up a book called Find Your Happy, as plain as it is. And that was like the gateway to changing my life and my mindset and how I think about things. And
Wow.
I've not stopped.
One book.
One book, and I've not stopped. And it was just, yeah. I mean, when she was describing her life, it was describing mine. And I was like, I didn't want to be part of that anymore. So
Amazing.
I definitely have changed. And like in this time, my boyfriend and I have both talked about how had this, pandemic and everything we're going to in so many ways, had this happened to us 6-7 years ago, it would have killed us. And we've been like, this has been like so good for us. And we just have been super positive. But it's all the mindset. It's the mindset. It's the energy. It's everything.
Billion% to find the light and know that and believe, right? When you have that strong belief in whatever your belief is, I'm a universe person too.
Yeah.
Whether it be God or the universe or whatever your thing is, but to have that strong grounded belief, I know, and it's such a beautiful thing that it's going to be okay. You know what I mean? Not to get trapped under the wave, but to like rise up and ride it to the shore because it will be good. And it's such a shame for people that are, unfortunately, like they can't help it but to be suffocated to all of this beautiful, precious time they could be growing and doing or relaxing or whatever. How many times did we we've wished and said, God, if I just had a week or time. And, but it's been paralyzing to some, the financials and whatnot, but if there isn't anything we can do about it and it's out of our control, then we just have to let it be and let it go. And stay positive.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
There's a lot.
And that's the other thing. I just want to keep inspiring because I've been there before where I have not been in a good place, not been in a good office. And it's like, you have chosen this profession for a reason. And it's because you like helping people and your core being, you like that. And sometimes all of the other stuff clutters that. And it's like, it's not that you don't like your job, you don't like all that other stuff. And so helping people get out of that so they're back loving what they do.
Right. No, that's
being inspired to do that.
My gosh, me too. So with dentists on the other side where you're doing that with hygiene, I have stepped into that with dentists as well because what I had found in the beginning of Dental Soiree, I was going out to a lot of offices to do, fun photo shoots and whatnot. And I would always have a dinner with dentists for an hour or so, like that the night before or whatever. And it was always just like, I hate it. I just negative stuff. But you know why? It's that pent up, built up stuff. Yep. That just they haven't been able to express to anyone to move forward, and unfortunately then that runs over onto the team because people feel energy. I feel energy all day, every day. I'm sure you do too.
Yeah.
I know, I hire on energy and what I'm feeling and everyone knows it. I'm very transparent about it.
Yeah.
But, and thank goodness I feel very lucky that I have that intuition or that I'm open enough for it. Because it's important, but yes, I think on both sides, there's just a lot of, negativity versus breaking those walls down and coming together as a team and making that culture a lot better for all of us first and foremost, because then we make better people for our people that come in instead of individually trying to change worlds and lives with our patients.
Right. Because they sense it too. They know when the staff all gets along and has fun, or if they don't.
Right. Yeah.
Well.
Exactly. And it's funny too with social media and me trying to have dentists embrace it. The number one thing is you guys will start having fun. It's going to bring fun in because you're capturing all those moments. You're going to remember them, right? Because they're getting ingrained in you as you continue to reflect and look at those. And you can only grow and get better. And like I said, versus just running on autopilot every single day, chasing your tail, exhausting yourself and waiting for Friday, right?
Right. I know. I'm always the crazy one that I honestly look forward to Mondays again. I'm ready. My favorite part is, I originally started going to school to be a teacher. So I bailed halfway through university to be a teacher to go into hygiene. And now I joke because I'm at the end of the day, I'm still a teacher. I just teach about teeth all day long.
Yes,
and so
right.
It's that's your connection, but it's just, I feel too, I've found breaking down that barrier sometimes between those patients, and instead of how many times do we hear like, I know you're going to yell at me. And I'm like, since when do we yell? Nobody yells.
Never. I
But,
know. I'm
but
not.
they feel
like
that.
either.
And it's like trying to flip that into, instead of lecturing, like more from an education standpoint of like, I feel like there's so many opportunities to just educate patients as to like why they need to floss, and just being, instead of being like, you need to floss more. Like, here's like this why. And then you get those response of like, oh, well, nobody's ever really told me that.
Right.
And so it kind of breaks down that barrier of like, instead of them feel like they're being scolded or yelled, which I always laugh when they're like, I know you're going to yell at me. I'm like, I've never raised my voice.
Yeah. Nobody wants to be like spoken to or at. And I think when you speak from your heart and you're super passionate about what you're doing, they feel that obviously and sense it too. Like it's coming from a really good place, and then they're inspired to do so. And those are the patients too that go on to like refer other people to you and speak highly and want to keep coming back, which is great.
I think one of the fun things about creating the RDH Collective was it really once made me like reach out and start connecting with people like you and, you know, other hygienists who are out there a lot on social media. And it brought me to life again as a hygienist. And I'm sure you realize as a hygienist or a dentist, at the end of the day, our job can get really monotonous. It can get really, I mean, at the end of the day, the core of our job is kind of monotonous. But it's the patients, and it's like you growing and learning and then sharing what you grow and learn about dentistry, even about life with them, is what keeps it going. And I just kind of came to life again this year in just being excited about my profession. And I've learned so much, like just opening up that door. Once again, I hate to rely on social media because I feel like I have a love-hate relationship with how much I'm on my phone sometimes. But it's been so amazing to connect with people and the stuff I've learned and the people that I've met. I mean, that's one thing I always would encourage people is like, get on there and just start like looking for users with like the name hygienist or teeth in it. It's amazing the ladies you find.
Oh my God, there are so many. Like, and so I as well, even now, for me too, like, so dentistry is my jam. I love that. Obviously I do a lot of other things too, right? To be inspired, and because otherwise for me too, it was just kind of monotonous. Like I love my people and I love the dentistry, but after a while, the dentistry, right? You're really good at it. And there's not that there's a threshold. I mean, you can keep pushing past that, but I don't know. I still needed to grow. I'm always growing. I feel like growth is so important, which to your point earlier, if you're listening and you're in the dental world, I would say listening to Amy, this is the biggest takeaway there is that do not stay stuck. Like if you are in an office that feels shitty, excuse my language, like not good, like that is an unhealthy place to be. And every single person, like I encourage my team members to grow and fly. And if they're not feeling it, that's okay. Because they need to go somewhere where they, feel like they will. Because, life is too short. It's too short.
Oh, absolutely.
And anyone in dentistry has worked in a lot of different offices over time. I mean, even though my mother was a dentist, in between dental assisting and going to dental hygiene school and then going through dental school, like wherever I was in my life, I was obviously, temping at places and working at different places. And so I've had my experiences as well, along with temping, and you get exposed to a lot. And again, it's personality based. It's what you need to feed your own soul, but you need to keep searching and do not stop until you find it.
Yeah.
Because,
or people like me, honestly, I started in an office and I worked there for 12 years before the only reason I left and changed was because we decided to move to Colorado. And now I've been at the same office for 6 years?
That's amazing.
So that's when I realized too, how much I was missing out by not connecting to others. Because when I made the move and I got into a new office and I surrounded myself with new hygienists, like I learned all these tricks where I was like, oh my gosh, where has this been my last 12 years of my career? Because this just made my job like easier every day. Yeah. And so that was one of the reasons too that I was like, the RDH Collective is great for that because you don't really get that space. And like when you connect with other dentists and doing your online courses and stuff, you get to hear about what other people are doing, and
Yes.
they get to hear what other offices are doing. Because sometimes I feel like there's that barrier, or sometimes we're like, especially in our communities, we don't want to share because we want to keep our patients and we don't want them going anywhere else. Or, there's kind of that weird sense of competition-ish sometimes, where I come from an abundance mindset where I'm like,
Me too.
there are plenty of people who need their teeth cleaned and taken care of.
Community over competition, baby, all day, every day. Like, it's not, for me too, there are plenty to go around, and it's, not about that at all. It's like loving on our people that come in to see us as hard as we can. And if that's their choice, if they want to stay or go somewhere else, but we do our best to make sure our experience is like top notch, and that they know, like, we completely care about each other first and foremost, our team, our family, and then our people. I think that's huge.
Absolutely.
So did you get into Reiki? Do you want to tell? So I'm familiar with what it is, but other people may not know what it is. Do you want to speak to it?
It's a lot of energy work, and it's a lot of kind of, you're viewed as a Reiki provider as you're just kind of a conduit for the energy of the universe. And it kind of helps people clear out stagnant energy or heavy energy from things that have happened to their life. A lot of times sources of pain or injury is emotional stuff that we carry, and it just kind of helps clear that out for people. And I had a yoga instructor who I really loved when I moved to Colorado, and she was also kind of did work on the side as an energy and intuitive healer. And I was like, I don't really know what that is, but I'm one who's always I'll be the first one to be like, sure, I'll sign up and try it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've done so many wild workshops and things like that because I'm like, this might be amazing. It might suck. I don't know. Who cares? Let's find out.
Sure.
And so I went and met with her, and she did Reiki on me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I left. And I was like, I don't know what just happened to me. Holy crap, that was amazing. And I need to learn more. And she actually is a master. And so she over time had started offering certification classes. And so I did the first one just out of sheer interest. I wanted to learn more about what it was and how I could use this. Would I not use it? And so then I did my level 2, and I did that about 2 years ago. And so I've practiced on myself and family and friends. And now it's kind of like one of those things where I feel like things in life kind of circle around. You're like interested. Sometimes it takes a back seat because of other things in life. And now I feel it kind of coming forward again that I want to continue on to get my master's certification. And I've just felt it because I think there is a place for it in my hygiene job, and just understanding people's energy and what they bring to your chair, and you're so close to it and you're always kind of taking in their vibes. And like I said, you can either get kind of reflective against it, and like if they're like, I hate being there, I don't want x-rays, and they kind of have that shutdown attitude, you can really push up against that and be kind of irritated by it too. Or it's kind of like opening that up and coming from a place of understanding and like not being so defensive to back at them. And so I found it really kind of helped open up that energy and understanding that kind of vibe that happens in my chair every day, all day long,
Yeah, I think it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I've just always been into energy too, like I said, as well. So like I've had Reiki done on me. I was getting eyelashes for a while, even this past year, and my eyelash woman, and my life is so crazy and busy, and with the kids and the businesses, I have everyone come to me, which is like, helps me so much. We've got the dental chairs. So my lash girl would come to me and see me in my chair. And she's also a Reiki. She's kind of a super spiritual person, actually. Love her. Has a lot of intuitive stuff, but she was just like, oh, I'm kind of feeling like, I feel like we should do a little Reiki. I was like, bring it. My eyes, do whatever you need to do while we're in this chair, clear my chakras and do whatever you need to do, because there is nothing but complete, positive behind all of it. I think it's fascinating, and love that you are doing that, because to your point, definitely with our patients as well, working so closely. And like I said, they do bring so much stuff a lot of times.
Oh, yes.
It might not even be about us. It might.
I was just going to say that.
Right? And then the tears start to flow, and they feel very close and just open up to it, which is nice.
I was just going to say, because people, like I said, they either come in and they're carrying their stuff from their day, their work day, whatever, and it's reflected onto you, but it means nothing to you. Or, you have to break the news that they need a filling or they need a crown. And they kind of have this meltdown, and they're like, it's really not about them. That you just know that was the icing on the cake. And it's like how you can help be supportive in that. Because once again, that's the stuff you don't learn in school. You don't realize all of this stuff until you get into the profession. You're like, well, this is all the stuff I never knew I was signing up for.
You're really a psychiatrist, as like a psychologist at the same time. Yeah, big time. It is. We deal with a lot. Like you said, we wear a lot of hats, I think, with that, having to be there with a smile on, tell them that, that crown's going to be $1,500 or whatever on top of everything else. And then get back, that's going to pay for your kids' linen dresses, which I get a lot, and you have to really build up, like I said, those walls, but still remain really open to, letting it roll off and being present and being there, because we were called to do this and called to take care of them. And
absolutely,
there's no one better, for sure. I mean, I think the one thing, I miss the most, well, obviously human touch right now, like human connection. I'm a toucher, like even with my patients, I realize now how much I touch people, like,
oh yes.
And love close proximity, because this has been so hard. And even more fascinating, what I have found, I don't know, you guys have been out walking around because I've seen you on social. But everyone's out wearing their masks. And like for me this morning, I always go down into the water, which is super close to me. In the morning, I love the sunrise. Like that's just my time. And to be like, grateful, reflect, like it just, that's my hour. And, but people are walking around with their masks and not only doing the, the 6 foot distancing thing when you're walking, like they walk way around you, whatever, but there's no eye contact. Like, so they've got their mask on. I'm like, you can still smile. Like when you smile through that, like you're going to be smiling with your eyes the way we do every day. Like, or like look up and say good morning. I mean, I gave everyone this morning eye contact on purpose to just give them a good morning. Like, but it was just, it's so fascinating.
About 2 weeks ago, I recorded a video and I put it on my Instagram, and it was called, "This is a mask, not a muzzle."
Oh, I saw that. Yes.
I observed the same thing.
Right. That's right. You did.
Because I observed the same thing. You go out in public, you go to the store, and people would look down and look away, and there's no eye contact. They won't speak to you. They won't look at you like anything. And I was like, okay, maybe because we live in a mask, like every day, all day, we're so used to it. It's like, it's so part of it. I mean, our mask is like putting on a shirt, and we're so used to being like, whatever. We talk with it, we laugh with it. And I was like, you can still make eye contact. People can see the wrinkles around your eyes, scrunch up and smile. Like, come on.
So you feel like they, with a mask on, they feel more like, just, I don't know, like that's like distance or something. I don't know. It was,
Yes.
It's very.
I'm so glad you observed the same thing, because I did, and I was like, oh my gosh, quit being weird, people.
I know. Well, not at all. But some people are taking, again, everyone is doing it their own way, and that's okay. I mean, whatever. Some people live in scarcity, like again, and they're scared or whatever. Like for me, I'm like, hey, if that bug gets me, like it does. I don't know. I'm just one of those people that you need to keep living and moving, and it will be whatever it is. But I looked outside. I don't know if you saw my stories last night too, and my neighbor across the street was doing this like praying mantis kind of like, he was doing Tai Chi, which is amazing. Okay. Very, very good. He had on a full blown mask, like up to his eyeballs, and gloves. And he's like doing the moves, the praying mantis moves. And I'm looking out going, oh my God, like what world are we living in? Because he has like miles of property. It's not like anyone can even get close within so like, I think people, I don't know, like are confused or just doing it their own way. I don't know. They think they can contract it,
It's been interesting. One thing I realized that I missed, and I was talking to one of my coworkers, I'm like, you know what I missed the most, and I didn't realize it, is when we're talking to patients all day long, we're meeting new people. I mean, every hour I have a new person. And I didn't realize how my brain was missing so much stimulation, because you're going from subject to subject, topic to topic, all day long. Like you have, you know, Grandma Sue who's talking about her flower beds and you're talking about flowers. And then you have some other guy who's talking about his Harley and how he's going to Sturgis and you talk about that. Like all of the different topics I talk about and all the things I learned from my patients, because when they're like, do you know all this? I'm like, no, tell me. Like I learned all kinds of stuff. And I was teaching, I'm like, my brain literally kind of was like, wow, you're kind of, it's bored. I was like, I have talked about, I never realized how many random things I talk about in a day and how much I learned and how I was like, I love that challenge and I love jumping from thing to thing to thing to thing all day long. And I was like, now my brain was like, okay, what do you got for me? And I'm like, I don't know, nothing.
Right. All right. So let's talk about you, right? Living that life and needing all of that. And yet you have found a way to, when you call it janning, is that a specific term? So I have journaled since I was 11. So I probably have 50 journals from, actually, I think it was 9 years old when I started journaling. Granted, now I was going to say find the time. I don't take the time. Okay. Right. Because there's no excuse for it. But what I have found is that I feel like the little windows of my Instagram are the windows to my soul. And that's how I kind of just get it all like out. And that's my story. Although I still love, and if the lot kind of is like brewing, like fine, going and writing helps so much. But so have you always done that? Or are you doing it a lot more now? Because like
I'm kind of like doing it a lot more now. I've always done like the gratitude journaling of like the things I'm grateful for, but I learned janning, and it's a thing that her name is Carissa Kuchis. She works for the Tony Robbins organization.
Okay.
She is an amazing little spitfire, and she is the one, I follow her on Instagram, and that's how I found her. And she has coined the thing janning, where she's like, I never could find a journal I really liked. And so it's a combination of journaling and planning. And I really like it because it's kind of like, this is how I feel about things, or this is things I want to let go of and just get out. But then this is what I want my day to look like. I have found I really like to say, like, today, this is what's going to happen. Today, I'm going to have this amazing podcast with the Dental Diaries. And today, I'm going to bring my high vibes to this. Today, I'm going to have an amazing workout. I like already saying what my day is going to look like and living into that.
Okay.
You know, I like to say, you know, I have a staff meeting today, and I am going to share great ideas and thoughts and be open to learn. I like to say how my day is going to kind of go. Whether it ends up like that or not, I don't really know. But I like to say, today, this is going to happen. It's planning out my day in kind of a casual way to say how I want my day to look. So I start to live in to that futuristic, positive awesomeness that is going to happen in my day.
So you're reflecting, letting go, giving gratitude for all that's happened, and then visioning forward.
Yep.
Oh my God. Okay. So I've never heard of that. And I've been to Tony Robbins, Business Mastery, and all that stuff. But
I want to do my first UW this year. So that's on my to-do list. Yeah.
Yeah. On your like vision board or like,
yes,
so good. Yes. So good. Yeah, it's definitely life changing for sure. But that's really fascinating. So I'll have to look her up to learn more about that, because that's something I could get into, because when I'm writing all this stuff, I'm such a visionary, such a strong visionary that I'm like, this is already in the past. I want to see, forward and keep moving forward. So like that might be something that will work for me too, because I see you. So for those of you, like I said, once you start following her, you'll see, but she does these awesome janning sessions, and girl, you can write. Like it is like pages of her writing, and it's incredible. And I don't know, it just looks so great.
I set a timer for 15 minutes because then I, one, don't let myself get distracted, and two, I don't let myself question what I'm writing. It doesn't give me time, because like I want to write so many things out, and it's like, it doesn't give me time to stop and like edit what my brain is wanting to put down. I only have 15 minutes to say 5 things I love and appreciate that's going on in my life. And I jan out what, if there's anything I got to let go of, otherwise what my day is going to look like. And I have written a paragraph about the person that I say I am. and how I move through my life. And it's like my personal paragraph that I write every single day of the life and the person that I want to continue to be, because I have that strong belief in you're just always living up to what, I mean, Rachel Hollis does it too, about the 10 things, like writing them as if they've already happened.
Right.
And that's kind of how I start my day. I'm writing my day out as if it's already happened and it's going to be freaking amazing.
I love that. I love that. Rachel Hollis is doing a virtual. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Are you doing it for like $40 or something?
I know. I might consider it. I'm like, I know. I'm like filling my days with so many virtual things, but it's been so awesome.
Hers is super there's a lot of positive, awesome people on those platforms. I don't know how it will go. I took my soiree team to one of those events, which was really fun and great. So like, I think it'll be good. And some of the people on those panels I listen to in the morning, like when I'm doing, I'll watch like either listen to a podcast or watch. Like if I'm on the treadmill, I'll put my iPad and like watch something on YouTube, like one of those, the impact theory is awesome. There's so many great positive things that if you start your day that way, obviously, like I said, you're already in that mindset to keep it moving. It's funny because I'll be like, get my workout in. Or like this morning, for instance, I'll go out to the water. I went running. I came back and there's like, it's so hard. So I don't know if your boyfriend's on your plane and you guys are on the same, like I said, frequency, which is amazing. Like for me, 3 kids, I came back and I keep saying I like to be scheduled. Because we're in dentistry, we like to be scheduled, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, I came back and I'm like, oh my gosh. And, wait, the kids aren't up yet. Like, what time is it? We still have like homeschool. What do you mean you're down here in your pajamas? Like beds aren't made. And all of a sudden my mind starts going, woo, and I had to just be like, it's okay. Go open those blinds and keep it moving. But with my husband, I'm like, do you think you could just, before you go downstairs, make sure to make the bed and at least like open the blinds upstairs? So when I come up, I'm not coming from this place of like beauty, happiness, whatever, to like dark and still like, I don't know. It's been a tough, kind of thing to shift. Again, everyone's not in the mindset, like I said, the same kind of zone. My husband's dealing with all of the financials. Fortunately, he's letting me do me and be me. And I have so many things. I feel like this is such an opportunity to grow. But for me, like you, I want to just, oh my gosh, help so many others and inspire them to step into social things they're afraid of and fight their fear and step past that. Because as you know, there's no better time than right now to engage with others. And that will be tremendous for their practices when it comes to getting back and like marketing and all of that stuff. So I've used every minute of it for that, but poor Andrew's just been like in bank land of trying to figure it all out. As a fee-for-service practice, we don't have any AR. So like when we shut down first week in March, I mean, that was like the last penny that came in that practice, with several rents. This is my dental spray space and everything. There's a lot. Yeah. So, it's a lot for somebody to carry, which I think, again, a lot of people are carrying, but carry differently.
Right.
So, I wish I had the Reiki thing. I'd be all over him.
Yes. Well, I know. And just talking to the owners of my practice, I've been kind of keeping in the loop of doing webinars and, kind of what the chit chat is on stuff and keeping a pulse on it. It's like, I don't get too caught up right now in it, but just keeping a pulse. Because they're delved into the small business world. And my boss was like, my webinars have been focused about the business aspect of it and stuff. So it's been nice to be able to be helpful and be kind of the radar out them and for them to be like, this is kind of what I'm hearing. This is what's going on. Or I've, listened to this webinar or this podcast and whatever, trying to take in what's going on from like the clinical aspect, because I get it. They're like knee deep in the small business world of just, I can't even imagine.
It's a lot for everyone, because I think obviously for dentists, it's not like we could just, like you're furloughed or anything. Like, it's just different. So, and first of all, emotionally for us, I think, at least for me, to date in life, like that was probably one of the most trying emotional times. And it just seems it's still so surreal to have to let your family and team members, go or say, to go that route. But yet the only thing that kept me coming back to that was, wait, but everybody is doing it. Everyone has to do it. It's not like I fail, my practice is in a bad place or whatever. But I think that everybody is scared. I mean, I'm on the dental threads where people are like, the PPP loan hasn't come through. No one's getting anything or seeing anything. I don't even know for team members per se, like where everyone's at with that. But I know team members then are like, am I even going to have a job when I come back? And dentists are like, are we going to be able to keep our doors open? And so there's a lot of that stuff going on right now, for sure.
And I feel for some, and just kind of keeping a pulse on just the community. I mean, there's some people who literally, I think, are going to make the choice that this profession is no longer for them.
I know.
I
agree.
And I completely understand and get that. People and respect it and hold space for them for that. And I just know that for some people, this is going to be a shift for them because it's just too much, and they're just don't want to step into that, or because of whatever other health concerns. I mean, it's scary for them, and I get that,
Yeah.
I really do get that, and trying to hold space. And tomorrow I already wrote today, I wrote a post because I think it's important, because I know there is floating around one of the highest occupations at risk of this COVID is the dental hygienist. And so that hit social media like a storm, and there's been so much chit chat around that. And I was like, I get it, I understand it, but I'm one who's like, okay, all of this, we know there's things we can't control, but what can we control? And trying to start to encourage people, like, what can you control? You can control your health. You can control your well-being. If you put on the quarantine 15, cool. Like,
I'm 20 over here. Easy from the cookies we've been making every other day.
Time to turn it around. And start making those changes. Are you taking your vitamins and supplements? Get those veggies in, start building your immune system, so that way your body's going to be more resistant, or if you get it, you can fight it. Start flipping your mindset. Like I said, mind is everything, and we know when we go back, it is going to be a lot. There's so many new protocols we're all going to have to wrap our head around. It is going to be the calm in the storm for our patients as they're coming in, and how are you going to deal with those stressful moments? Like, already giving yourself a game plan of when you feel overwhelmed and stressful, what are you going to do? Right. Because also stress lowers your immune system and your body. You don't want to do that to yourself. Yep. So I was writing about start helping yourself, take responsibility for yourself and what you can control. And that is starting to take care of your body and your mind.
Yeah. Billion, quadrillion %. I found it fascinating the other day. I was speaking, one of the big companies asked me to be part of an ebook that they're going to put out to dental practices. And she said, well, can we get some quotes from you about what you're going to do when you get back, how you're going to let your patients know that you're going to be doing things different. And I was like, hold up. We're not doing anything differently, because first of all, I want to nurture them back in big open arms. Come in, we have always followed protocol. Do you all of a sudden you see posts where people they're doing bleach on the walls and stuff, and it's come on, you guys, seriously. We wear masks, we do everything we can. We work with aerosols all day, every day. Yeah. And yes, there's COVID, but yes, there's been a lot of other stuff too. And if anyone is immune, we are, because if you take one of those little wands to us at night, we would be glowing. Post-its for sure. It is what it is. Again, we just have to kind of just step back into life, because it needs to keep moving. It needs to open up. And like I said, this has been, it's incredible to me, such a beautiful gift of time, and yet has gone so incredibly fast.
Yes.
I mean, we just celebrated my boot camp ending, my first boot camp that I launched. It was perfect timing with everything. We were able to really step into that, spend a lot of time on our modules, and go over, because no one had anything, better to do. So, and today, I was just it's been 5 weeks. This is insane to me. I can't find enough hours in the days, which is, which will be a mindset thing for me, will be stepping back into dentistry, because then I'm not able to I feel like it's a gift and calling for me. So it's such a strong, strong calling I need to step into. I get very conflicted with practicing dentistry and trying to do that, and then being a mom too sometimes. I want to do all the things, right? Yeah. But you can't do all the things really well. you know? So sometimes you have to make those decisions. And when I went to Tony Robbins, actually,
Yeah.
he said to me, which do you need to pick? Like, and I think he thought dental soiree at the time, he was like, that is like, that's where you need to be. And I was like, oh my gosh, no, like Sugar Fix is my baby. Like, it's my baby and it's what I've known. But truth, like inside, I feel like I've been called into that space, as you have, to make a difference in this world. And no matter how difficult it is, which it is, because dentistry, it is like banging our head against the wall to get through, because people aren't as open to receiving. But that's okay, because I will not stop, and neither will you. We just keep going because we are supposed to. Like, this is what we've been called to do.
Exactly.
You know, and so like I said, but a gift of time, such an opportunity. And again, to be like, talk to people, like you see so many other people. Like I said, I've been amazed when you said people might not go back. My gosh, on Dental Girl Gang, you know, on that page, just, you know, the other night going through and I was trying to think, there are so many incredibly talented women in this profession that are doing other things that are not teeth, you know, related. Whether that be like artwork, I mean, so many different things. I was like, my gosh, we need to kind of step into talking more about this and getting that out there to spread the love.
Oh, absolutely.
So that people have more tribes or, you know, places to go and be. I feel completely overwhelmed with, I'm an Instagram girl anyway, but Facebook completely overwhelms me. There's 20,000 billion pages. Things get like lost. It's clutter to me. It's just not the way I work.
When I started the RDH Collective, I was like, Facebook. Okay, I have to relearn Facebook because I am too. I'm an IG girl. And so I kind of am on there, but it's not great. I like my IG.
I can't even find like in our Facebook too for the boot camp, which is where a lot of dentists like live on Facebook. And I'm like, move over. Like, you know, we're not even on Snapchat anymore. We're in TikTok land, you know, like trying to get people, you know.
I was laughing because I was like, I did my first TikTok video last week, and that was one of my goals, is to get on TikTok over this break, this quarantine break. And I'm like, wow, my goals in life are really sliding. They're digressing, as my goal is to post on TikTok and learn TikTok.
I know. It's not, like I said, for me too, like that platform, you know, I don't know. I think we follow for business. Like, have you watched Gary Vee? Have you watched Gary Vee?
Yes. Oh, yes. My boyfriend every day is a Gary Vee guy.
Yes. I love Gary Vee too.
Yes.
Yeah. He's amazing. But you know what he was always saying too, like you got to step into TikTok, like get in there. So like I jumped in hard and fast in the beginning too, but then again, I was like, I can't do all the things. I have to pick, you know, you don't want to do everything half-assed. You need to pick like 2 things you do really well. So.
Right. And honestly, that's where like I jumped in with the RDH Collective, and I had a great mentor who's built a community for nurses, and she kind of had guided me a little bit as to how she did that, just why reinvent the wheel. And so I jumped in hard and was trying to do so much for the RDH Collective that I had to pause because, and I had posted, I needed to pause to pivot because like you said, you can't do everything. And I live very much out of intentionality. When I put stuff out there, I want it to have intention. I don't want to post just to post. I want it to have meaning. I want it to have support for people. And so I've kind of reared back of like not being, and I know it's against all the social media rules of how many times a week you have to post and all that jazz. But I was like, you know what?
No rules.
It's gonna, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like happening. It's still growing. The community will be there, and it'll evolve as it goes. As I'm sure you've seen in your communities, as you evolve that and you try stuff and you're like, okay, that's not really working or taking off, and you pivot a little because too, it's like you want to be really good at a few things and like not like half-ass at a whole bunch. So yeah.
Right. No, I probably like you. I'm very, you know, I mean, I've been following you for a while, so I feel connected in that regard, which is funny how social media does that. But I, like you, have been in that space as well. And like you just, and this goes for everybody, you know, you really just have to listen to your mind, your heart, and your body. And if you need a break, you need to step away. And it's okay. It will be there when you come back, you know, and it's fine. But if you feel on fire and inspired, and I've had those days, I'm like, you know, like like super blast. Like I have too much to say. And if you don't want to hear it, don't show up. Like, or don't tune in, because there's, I don't know, some days there's just like so much goodness. And then some days, I mean, we know it's like, our brains can be like a pinball machine, and it's always like our brains always want to go negative, and it takes so much energy to kind of turn that dial off and keep it positive and, be there for more. But I think you're doing all beautiful, amazing, incredible things. And I also know for all of you, she has been doing a highly caffeinated conversations that I just learned about. She just put on her stories recently with her boyfriend, Andy. Andy Neri 333.
Yeah.
His handle?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Andy Neri 333, but she's been hopping on with him. They're on like episode 23 or something for highly caffeinated conversations. And during this time, they just started hopping on at noon to talk about all that stuff. And I think that that's amazing because it's transparent, it's life, it's fun. That's what social media is, like authenticity, because that's when you're going to connect with somebody that needs you in that moment in time. So I think like everything you're doing, I think you're a huge inspiration to the hygiene community and everybody else out there, showing up and paying attention. And I wanted Amy to be, like I said, my first guest because I just launched in over this quarantine time to start this podcast. Like it was on my bucket list, like your TikTok was. I said, listen, the Dental Diaries, I started a long time as a vlog. I was going to do the YouTube videos. And I was like, oh my gosh, this takes so much time with the editing and all that. There's no way. And then to be able to step into a podcast, obviously that's a lot easier to do, to speak.
Oh yeah.
But then I started just speaking to me and I'm like, okay, I have a lot to say, don't get me wrong, but just speaking to myself I'm like, this is not inspirational, like whatsoever. And who wants to just hear me go on and on and on? So I think it's like really fun to bring other people in. And again, we can grow from one another and learn so much from one another.
Absolutely. No, yeah. I think that in the Dental Girl Gang, I think it's been so great. It's so great to meet other women who are doing things and who are willing to step into that, because you and I feel comfortable with stepping on social media and having that, I have something to share. If it's of value to you, great. If not, keep swiping. Yep. And I mean, and just kind of riffing about life and sharing because, you never know. Even, I mean, as I always say, don't look at the likes because I have so many people who reach out to me who have never commented or liked, who all of a sudden I'll like run into or see, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, I love all you have to say. I was like, yes. Where have you been? So I think what you started in doing this podcast is wonderful because you just never know who's listening and who it impacts and who it changes. And it's awesome. Yes.
Like Sweet Tooth Luna and that piece of artwork I put up. I was like, girl, first of all, like I was just looking for content, dental girls doing things. And I saw that piece and I was like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. Yes. I went to her page and I saw all of her artwork and I was like, this is insane. Like so good. And so I was so happy. Like when she just posted that she sold that piece to someone in Chicago, nevertheless, which is awesome. Yay. So it's here. It's almost like the universe like brought it back. Like, I don't know, you put it out there and brought it back. Like, but she's so talented. And now, like I said, this could be like a side hustle for her. I think it's important for women. If you feel called to do something, if you have a side hustle, like you need to step into that. That will fill your soul and make you so much better for so many reasons, even for what you're doing, like even in dentistry. So, so for us to speak to that, like you said, if people are showing up or behind the scenes and listening and maybe not commenting or liking, but there, lurking, yes. I hope that we can empower them to step forward and into their light and, yeah. do their things. It's really important. In Dental Girl Gang, like I said, I have, it's on my bucket list. Like I see what that's going to look like. And I have a big vision for what that's going to be. Once, like I said, it's difficult to be patient sometimes and live in the moment of like where we are understanding, which I do, but I'm like, gosh, there's so much I want to do. And like you said, it goes back to time and not having enough of it. And certainly like being a mom can be hard for a lot of us too, because you're like, am I showing up the way I'm supposed to? And if I'm called to do this, like they're going to understand it's going to make them that much stronger because they feel empowered and see that. But it's hard. So
it is. It's hard to always find that balance.
Yeah.
Because we want to do all the things. We want to help all the people.
Totally. Well, with that being said, because I knew that I could talk to you and I could talk to you, it's been an hour and I know we could just like keep on going. But where can everybody find you then on social?
You can find me on Instagram at High Vibe Hygienist and the RDH Collective.
Amazing.
Yes.
Well, I want to thank you for being with me today.
Thank you so much. This was so much fun. I was so excited. I was so happy to get to chat with you in person.
Yes, I love that we figured it all out. Now I'm going to figure out the rest of the techie stuff to kind of move this over, but I'm going to repurpose this video as well and put it on, like I said, the dental diaries. I just want to get a little like,
yes,
yay, so that I can put this up, and then I'm going to try to put it on YouTube.
Cool.
As well. All right, so stick with me for 1 second. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yes, thanks for having me. This was great.
All right, I'm gonna, well, actually, I think if I end my meeting, I'm gonna end you, so.
Okay.
Thank you. I'll see you over on Instagram.
Okay, sounds good.
All
Have
right.
a great one.
Bye.